On the 15th of October, I attended the two-day Cvent Europe conference. It seemed bigger than last year's event, and it felt like there were many more attendees. This was possibly due to the location, the Intercontinental London, right next to the O2 in North Greenwich. One of the reasons I was there was to speak to Jake Dennett about his session that was due on the second day. The Agile event planner, staying ahead in the ever-evolving world of events. We discussed the session and some of the issues that event planners are currently experiencing.
Yeah, so my name's Jake Dennett. I'm a Senior Business Development Executive at Cvent. I've been here for 3 years. I work in the association, non-profit and education team.
Okay.
So we're a dedicated team to only work with them group of organisations because things are different in that world than they are in the corporate world. So it's not all about like driving revenue and P&L sheets, it's about building communities. So
There's
shape it.
different motives.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, different motives, different reasons why you run events, different community angles as well. So we shape the technology and shape the way that we present our events to that audience that we do to the big corporate world.
Exactly, yeah, because each group's going to have a different need that they're trying to satisfy and, let's say, different motives on it.
Yeah, so there might be chartered institutes, like more of a professional body. We might be talking to like a higher education organisation that does it for like their alumni. It could range from anything. It could be just a membership body of a group of individuals coming together to share best practices and build a community. So it could range really.
Yeah. So what sort of range are we looking at when it comes to the different associations?
We'll have like smaller associations that are very niche, that will be 50 to 100 people, and then we'll work with like unions or chartered institutes that may be 100, 200,000 members that will range across the globe, around the world. It really could depend. There isn't really a particular range for the events that they run. It could be that they'll run an event for 50 people, 100 people, it might be a dinner, it might be a networking, or it could be the annual conference, it could be a medical conference, it really depends.
Yeah, because all events are going to have the same sort of basic needs.
Correct. Yeah, so you might be talking about like registration in terms of helping someone to collect that data and create that personalised experience. It might be a mobile app, it might be on-site services. It really depends on what you're trying to achieve at your event. But ultimately, the technology remains the same, but the way you deliver it to your audience needs to be personalised, and you want to create the moments. So that's what we do with my team.
Cool. This morning's keynote was very much focused on the AI side of things.
It was.
And you bring that into this, what you're doing.
We do, yeah. So AI, it's very, very popular in the minute, as you can tell. We are focusing a lot on our R&D and our development around the way that we position ourselves in the AI world. As Reggie said, it's not going to be like the person that adapts it, it's the person that enhances it and kind of uses it within their role that are the ones going to strive in this environment. And it's ever present in their role, it's only going to grow more and more. In the product and in the way that we deal with our day-to-day tasks.
Yeah, it does seem to be everywhere at the moment. But
everywhere.
Is it going to last though? Because at the moment we do see a lot of. Are we going through that moment of we did with virtual reality with the headsets and augmented reality with the special glasses you had to wear? Yeah, I mean the industry had that moment of this is fabulous, it's bright and shiny, this is going to be amazing, and then. What was it like 6 to 8 months later? We don't talk about that anymore.
Yeah, it's a fair question. My personal opinion is that it's very much here to stay. Now, the reason that I say that is because if you take something like augmented reality or virtual reality, it can be quite niche, whereas AI is so broad. You've got people that are bringing it into like their day-to-day. There's teams being set up, task forces being set up to help with like mundane automation, and then we've got people that are building agents and creating this automation process. So I think the entry points are different, and I think it's very much that there will be a learning curve for sure, but I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. It's very much going to be the foundations of the next generation of event professionals for sure.
I would agree, it's going to be around for quite some time.
Yeah.
But do you feel it's sort of like a solution looking for a problem, or is there real genuine use cases for layering on top AI services?
and agents?
I think there is. It depends which way you look at it. So from like a day-to-day task perspective, I think it can take a lot of that laborious task-driven actions into AI process, which could help you streamline your automation. So I don't necessarily think there's necessarily a problem there, but I certainly think it helps you optimize, which then give you more time to go do your job and other elements to it. Whereas there will be people within organizations that are using it to help find and deliver problem solving exercises, probably at a much quicker pace than they would be if they was doing it themselves.
From the people I've been talking to, there is definitely a quicker pace. But event planners are finding slightly smaller budgets, actually quite smaller budgets, and lead times are getting incredibly short. So having AI services would help with that.
Yeah, massively. I mean, the stuff that Cvent's doing is the whole purpose of it is to give you time back in your day. So it's not so them tasks of, like, for example, completing an RFP may take you an hour, 2 hours. You should be able to do that within 10-15 minutes now, even quicker sometimes, if it depends on what background you've got, with the sole purpose that you have more time to do your role rather than focus on their mundane tasks.
Yeah, I like the idea that they could actually help you get your job done, as long as it doesn't mean that if you have a whole day of work but you've done it in a half a day.
Yes.
It'd be nice to actually have the other half day as time to yourself or to organise, but not cram in another day's work into half day.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I see what you're saying. I think there's again, the way that I look at it is that it provides me, especially with smaller budgets and the way that we're working, I think it provides you more time to actually be a little more creative. I think it gives you time to be a little more innovative, and maybe the time that you've maybe saved in doing these million tasks can then be used to grow your career, grow your development, build your network, and use it for extra activities rather than just your kind of day-to-day role as well.
That's a good point. That not only does it's going to save you time and help you with the mundane task, but that's a short-term thought. But for long term, you mentioned progressing your career and going and improving yourself. So that's all part of it.
Yeah, I believe so, for sure. I think as I said, there's an angle that, like, if it gives you that time back, it's now what can I do with that time? And yes, there will always be that next to-do list item that you'll have to do. But if you're developing your career and you're, again, using it to help educate yourself and develop and understand, again, what's out there in the world, I think ultimately it can only benefit you in terms of, again, streamlining your processes, but ultimately expanding your knowledge and the way that you do things as well.
Yeah, because event planners are busy enough, especially with the shorter lead times. So
yes.
Anything that's going to allow them a chance to breathe and step back and have a think about things.
For sure.
Where make sure they go in a direction they want to go.
Yeah.
Not just in what they're planning, but also in their career.
Yeah, I think this leads, this is going to come up in our session tomorrow when we talk about the Agile event planner. And I think it leads into that conversation is that event planners are now getting asked to do more and more, as you said, with shorter lead times, more events, whether it might be in person, virtual, webinar, whatever it may be. We've got some people on the team, on the panel tomorrow that run over 200 events a year, and they're a team of 2.
Wow.
So they
two people
doing all of the events, and obviously there's a lot of structure. There's in-person, like dinners, there's webinars, there's conferences, there's a real mix.
Yeah.
But you need to find tech and AI and all these other processes to help to make sure that you are optimizing doing your job to the best of your ability. Saving that 10-15 minutes on the task could ultimately mean that that event gets delivered to a better expectation than it would be on the other. So it's remaining agile is the key of it all.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing 200 events a year, then any time you can shave off,
of course,
it's going to help.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean it is, and especially with the whole purpose of the session is to talk about how you remain agile. So like whether it's using AI, using tech, using your network, and there's an element of well-being in it as well. A lot of event planners are being asked to do a lot. It's a very stressful job. It's known for being a stressful job. So how to recognise that when you are feeling the pressure, what you can lean on, use your network, use technology, ultimately be that person to recognise that you can be agile and it's not just all relying on your shoulders.
To be agile, you need to recognise which tools you need to be using. And also be fairly familiar with them. Otherwise, you don't want to spend time doing a learning curve and getting to grips with it.
No, of course. I mean, that the tool might be in essence a technology, something like Cvent. It might be AI. It might be your network. It might be that person that you know that can. So if you don't know how to solve the problem, to know that you know someone that can solve the problem is ultimately, again, something that will come up in the session. And it's how you use your network and use what you have within your resources to ultimately remain agile.
It sounds like a very important thing to be discussing.
Yeah, no, it is.
AI is becoming more and more prevalent. Unfortunately, some people are using it as the end point, as in content creation without checking, verifying, and going through it. But if you're using it as a way of fuzzy questions, you know what I mean? It's when you type in a search engine these days, you have to ask a question it recognises to give you the results that you're looking for.
Yes.
So having that ability to ask a question in a fuzzy sort of way, especially if you're trying to bring in information from the venue side, from the tech side, from the planning side, having the ability to ask it to bring it all into one place, into one report, as it were.
Yeah, I think there's always the disclaimer that you need to check something before you publish it. You also, from a personal perspective, you want it to feel like it's you. So whether it's your own brand, your tone, your voice, your vocabulary, you don't want it to feel robotic or just generic. And I think personalization is going to be key, especially with AI. The way that you then use it to create content, again, I don't see it as a be and end all. I see it as a spark of an imagination, or just to get something on the page, which will then help you rephrase it and retune it in your own vocabulary. But that might be content or LinkedIn posts or whatever it may be. I think sometimes even getting the initial idea out is difficult. You might have all these thoughts in your head, but even just having a back and forth with like an AI agent, for example, may help spark some sort of creativity.
Yeah, it's got to be the starting point.
Yeah, no, it has to be.
And if you have an idea for something and you think, I really want an article, or I need to outline something, it should be the starting point where you start pulling in numbers.
Yeah.
I like the idea that it doesn't put any meaning to it, because that's your job.
Yeah.
Our job. But it does collate the information, so you can work through it. So if you've got all the different aspects of Cvent that an event planner can pull in, then having it out as a report that you could just skim through or read and understand it, and as I say, make it your starting point.
Yeah, and I mean, data is ever present, as you know, and there'll be stakeholder reports, there will be information that you're getting pulled across all of your data. For example, Cvent Connect, there'll be all this information we'll have. You'll be able to pull a report in the Cvent system to know there might be, for example, certain engagement scores or speaker engagement or attendance at certain sessions. And now using like AI and using the platform, bringing it all together, the main goal is then you have that centralized source of truth across all your event data, whether it's reports, whether it's insights, whether it's engagement, session feedback, whatever it is. That's the purpose of it, and that's ultimately where the platform is going to be going even more moving into 2026.
I guess you could call it a source of truth, providing you verified it.
Of course.
Because at the bottom of every ChatGPT, Gemini, we may sometimes get things wrong, which not a lot of people seem to be reading or understanding. But that's that side of things. That's they're checking to AI. Which I hate calling AI because it's large language models. There's not much AI in it. But when you can actually pull it from existing databases, I mean, you have a lot of databases.
We do.
For all the things that you do. So again, having the event planner being able to pull in from various sources and collate it into a single report, so it becomes the starting point. That's where you want to be.
Yeah, ultimately.
So in your session, which is due, could you just outline some of the topics you're going to be discussing and sharing?
Sure. So the session tomorrow on Thursday is about the Agile event planner in this ever-evolving events world that we all live in. Now, the sole purpose of it is that everyone's starting to acknowledge that attendee experience is starting to shift. Technology is moving along very, very fast. but event planners, especially in the association space, are trying to still create this impactful, unique moment at their events, and keeping up with it is quite exhausting, especially if you've got a very demanding events calendar. Now, the staying agile is very much about, it's a must nowadays, it's not a nice to have. So especially when you're being pulled in all directions, there's shorter time scales, it's less budget, for example. The session is going to talk about, one, how to address that, how to acknowledge it, so you know that what tools you have at your disposal to remain agile, but ultimately what you could do in terms of your well-being and your team's well-being as well. So there was a lot of demand, especially leading into big events. People are on the go, people have long working hours. It's how to understand and recognise at that point in time what you can do to help remain and stay agile.
Cool. Is there one thing that you would say to an event planner that they should be doing right now, from your point of view and everything that you know about how things are going?
Yeah, my one thing that I think is going to come out tomorrow, and I think it's very important for the audience to recognise, is to build your network. There's a lot, and we say internally, building something like Cvent Connect Europe takes a village. It takes a lot of people and a lot of hands to build something like this. Now, every single event planner is going through exactly the same thing. It's having that little black book, it's having that village, it's having that resources to know that if you don't have to solve a problem, who do I go to? That might be tech, that might be a person, it might be a team, but having that network, whether it's a professional body or whatever it may be, having that really, really, really helps.
Yeah, because there is a trend, I think, emerging where there will be face-to-face networking events where you will be encouraged to turn off your phone.
Leave
it behind.
I like that.
And go talk to people.
Yeah, I like that. It's very, I myself, it's very comfortable to be in a room, if you don't know anyone, to look down and go on your phone. If you took that aspect of it away, you'd be forced into doing it. But that will be challenging for some people, for sure. But it's a good concept.
I think it's the way it's going to be going.
Yeah, but the network is going to be key, I think, for anybody in this role. It's a very demanding role, and having that network is ultimately how you can help yourself professionally and personally.
Event Plan News is supported by the event industry. It's patrons like Vivid Ink and Wear.app that helps to keep things running. And big thanks to our partners Shoutout and The Power Events. And of course to all our industry friends. Your support is really appreciated. Details for how you and your business can be a patron can be found in the show notes and on the EPN Journal website. Thanks for listening.